Hello there people, Vestin here, welcome to part 0 of my Life is Strange playthrough designed to help you decide whether you want to watch the whole thing. I'll go over 3 matters: what the game is, how I feel about it, and what the playthrough is like. Life is Strange is an episodic 3D adventure game where the choices somewhat matter, and the fundamental mechanics relate to time travel. It takes place in the fictional town of Arcadia Bay, and you play as Maxine Caulfield. Since it's a story-heavy game, I find it extremely difficult to tell you almost anything beyond that without spoiling the experience, although I highly recommend you beat the game yourselves before watching this, at which point you won't need me to tell you what the game is like anyway. My relationship with this game has been complicated, to say the least. I've been reasonably thorough in exploration, and I have certainly been extensive and even long-winded in my analysis of every single aspect of it. The sheer volume of my commentary here is startling, but I wouldn't have it any other way. Unfortunately, I seem to have gone into this game looking for a fight. I maintain some of my original objections, but in drastically reduced scope and severity. One of my earliest examples of this acerbic negative attitude on my part is how I treat my dear protagonist Max. But don't take my present word for it, here's what I have originally had to say. As far as there are no redeeming qualities to Max. I repeat, there are no redeeming qualities to Max as a human being, as far as I can tell. She's not particularly bright, she's not particularly social, she's not particularly proactive. Every single thing I've heard about every single protagonist that there is supposed to be, every single sort of thing you respect about protagonists is absent over here. Every single protagonist out there optimally should have 3 traits. Every single protagonist should be good, proactive, and competent. That's what we want to see in protagonists. We want them to be good rather than evil because we want them to strive to make the world a better place. We want them to be proactive because we want them to actually try to make the world a better place, to get things done. And we want them to be competent because we want them to actually succeed instead of constantly stumbling. She doesn't appear to necessarily be good in any way, shape, or form. I don't know that, but there is no particular goodwill that I have seen at any point. If anything, she's kinda catty, complaining about every single other girl out there for no particular reason whatsoever. Even though they've done nothing to her. I don't know, maybe they're cold and indifferent, maybe there's something, but there seems to be no overt hostility between these people and her, and yes, she is self-admittedly already playing these sorts of nonsensical social games. So yeah, no higher ground is to be had here as far as social relations are concerned. No sign that she genuinely wants to make the world a better place or cares about actually anyone other than herself. She is thoroughly self-obsessed as far as I can tell so far. So no goodness in her at all. Proactivity, I can really see proactivity at all over here. She explicitly mentions procrastination. All the sorts of traits she does have seem to be flaws. So no redeeming qualities as far as that is concerned. And talk about competence. No! Self-admittedly, she's filled with doubt and doesn't appear to just be filled with doubt because she is so shy about her own brilliance that is ultimately there. No, there appears to be nothing there. So as far as all 3 traits are concerned, at the very least, we have nothing to go off that would suggest that she is brilliant. At the very least, at best, we don't know. Maybe there is a diamond you can polish your way into if you try hard enough. And at worst, she's just horrible and despicable. With nothing going for her. This reaction in particular was after the proverbial straw breaking the camel's back, but notably, that was due to me misreading a sentence to mean its exact opposite. False shame. How I felt about Max had both its firm anchoring in who she fundamentally is and fluctuated with how she changed and how my perception and understanding of her, including retroactive one, kept adjusting. I didn't fall in love with this game instantly. As I've said, I had a negative attitude. Now, to my credit, I caught myself almost instantly and promised myself I'd try to be as kind and open-minded as I could. Oh, no. I don't want to purposefully find faults with every single thing. This is just a sort of mindset and sort of attitude and sort of frenzy you can put yourself in. But the more you put yourself in that, the more you will start finding fault with literally everything. I continued to make quips, but I tried not to hate. I struggled, but I've persevered. It required the aforementioned effort on my part, but it was worth it. The game has left a lasting impression on me. A lasting impression is a stock phrase, but I'm not using this lightly. You presumably understand what it's like for an immersive experience to be over, but for it to leave you with swirling images, vivid memories, turbulent emotions, and obsessive thoughts that last for hours or even more. That's the kind of lasting impression I have in mind and live for when engaging with fiction. As for the playthrough itself, a couple of words of caution are necessary. The commentary just doesn't stop. If you're looking for someone to just get on with it, look elsewhere. I read every single thing I find. I interact with everything and everyone, and I explore many possibilities and variants, though not all. Most importantly, every so often, I just stop to talk. Sometimes about what's in front of me, sometimes about what has just happened, sometimes about what I retroactively piece together, and sometimes what I expect will happen. All needs to be done. Unfortunately, the only way you're going to enjoy this playthrough is if you both like to listen to people talk and you appreciate the things I, Vestin, as a person have to say. Alas, this might be of very niche appeal, to put it mildly. But that's how I enjoy myself playing these games. And I think that's the only unique selling point I have to offer. I feel what I offer may just be bad, unenjoyable, and self-indulgent, but if I were to rip it out, I'd be offering nothing. From a technical standpoint, I have included my heart rate monitor, because I figured I might as well. Sadly, it's not an emotions tracking device, so it won't display tenderness or sorrow, but hopefully you can pick up on these yourselves. I've left the webcam in its usual non-intrusive size, so you won't necessarily see, tears streaming down my face, though you'll probably be able to figure that one out based on when and how hard my voice cracks. Sharing this sort of stuff with the world does feel weird, but I don't feel like it crosses a line. And of course, basically no one watches this stuff anyway. I could go on and on, though I would have to get increasingly cryptic not to spoil anything about either the game or how my stance on it has refined over time. I'm realistic about the exposure this is one to get, but I do hope you will find this playthrough to your liking. Thanks for watching, and you will see me elsewhere.